Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and we are talking about Local Business 2020 today, a vision for the future. What is 2020 going to be like for your local business? What things are you going to have to do when it comes to online marketing to make sure that you are front and center and people can find you? Well, we have our special guest, Adam Vest, on today. He is with Denver Digital, marketing company up in Denver, Colorado. Adam Vest, welcome to the show.
Hi, Neil. Thanks for having me on this afternoon.
Well, I'm looking forward to this conversation. I love talking about digital marketing because what you do, Adam, and getting people found online is the very first, the most important step to them getting the business and making profits. So I'm looking forward to having that conversation and what's going to be working now and in 2020. But before we go, let's kick off with a little bit of information about yourself, Adam, and Denver Digital.
Sure. So Denver Digital, we're a boutique advertising agency. We specialize in search engine optimization, pay-per-click, website design and development, as well as social media marketing. We've been in business since 2015, and we work with clients all around the country to help increase, like you mentioned, their online presence. We help folks get online, and we help them get found. And at the end of the day, we bring them new business, which is, of course, the goal. So most of our clients are in the service-based industry. And, of course, we're huge advocates of localism here in the community.
Well, I love local marketing. I think it's the backbone of the country. You've got your plumbers, your HVAC, your doctors, your lawyers. They're all working locally. They're hiring people. They're making things happen in the local community. So it is very important, especially the businesses that you work with, Adam, that you get them front and center and you get the business for them. So well, first off, let's talk about exactly what local marketing or local SEO is compared to, just general SEO for any kind of company.
Sure. So Google is looking to provide the best possible search results for whatever search a consumer makes. Now, if a customer jumps on their cell phone and they search for local roofers near me, the importance of showing up for that local roofer in the top 3 positions organically or in the map section, it's huge. It generates a ton of business. It generates a ton of traffic to their websites, again, which typically converts into sales. So the importance is significant. And we do start to gain front page placement for our clients. We see a significant increase in website traffic. And as long as the website is built to convert, is mobile friendly, that traffic typically turns into sales. So to give you an example, we work with a local roofing company here in Denver. They're called My Denver Roofers. We've been working with them for over 4 years now. And last year, they got so busy that they actually asked us to take their website offline for the summer because they were booked out. And that's a direct result of fantastic SEO and then also, great business owners. These guys are obviously, that's extremely important as well, is that you're running a good business. But when people can find you online, things really improve quickly for you.
Really, and that's an extremely important point. The referral business and the reviews especially are really making a big difference in who's showing up on the map especially. And, just to view the search engine result page, when looking at it, I think there's like 22 results or something generally when you factor in the ads that are on the page, the map section, as well as your organic section. There's about 22 results overall. 3 of them generally are on the map, and those 3 get the lion's share, I would say, of the clicks and the calls for a business. So I want to talk specifically right now about Google My Business and how you can get in that map pack, because that's really what seems to be driving a lot of the calls right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The importance of the map pack cannot be overstated. The difference between being on the position 3 and position 4 is the difference between being on the front page and not being on the front page in that map section. And especially working with so many service-based companies, the average consumer is looking, when they conduct a search online, they're looking for someone to do business with. As a matter of fact, 50% of people visit a store within a day of conducting a local search. So being in that map section is extremely important. And, some of the most important ways to get onto the top 3 section there, it's a number of factors that Google looks at. I would say the most important thing is, first and foremost, creating a Google My Business page, right? You have to have the Google My Business page in order to have the opportunity to be found.
Yeah, it's surprising just how many businesses out there still haven't claimed their listing. It's one of the top places to be. So how do they go about doing that?
That's exactly right. So the first step would be to sign up for a Google My Business account. It's a free account. You would jump on, claim your listing, complete your Google Business profile. And that's completing that profile. That's one of the biggest mistakes that I see business owners make, is that they'll claim their listing and then they kind of think that's it. They think they're done, and that now they're just gonna show up, in that map pack. What we found is that the business owners that have the most complete profiles, so the most content, the most images, the most reviews, are the folks that typically show up in that top 3 section. You want to be sure to use a local phone number. We do not recommend using a tracked phone number. You can go about it, but you really want to work with an SEO company if you're going to want to track that number. There's right ways and wrong ways to do that.
Well, it seems like Google really wants to have people kind of build a website within their Google My Business listing. How important is that nowadays? Because it seems like people are actually visiting the actual business website a little bit less.
Mm-hmm. Well, Google's looking they're looking for trustworthiness, coherency, and consistency online. So making sure that your information is consistent across all the different directories, that's extremely important. Making sure that the phone number on your Google My Business page is what's on your website, which is what's the same on Yelp, which is the same on Angie's List, or whatever other directories you might be a part of. So making sure that things are consistent is huge. Coherent, of course, describing your business, selecting the right categories when you do create the Google My Business, and then writing about the services that you offer. That's a missed opportunity that I see a lot of business owners make, is again, they're not filling out this profile completely. You need to optimize your descriptions. You need to properly categorize your business. Photos are a huge thing. I think, the last time we spoke, you mentioned a great statistic about photos and how well consumers respond to a profile that has photos versus a profile that doesn't.
Yeah, the statistic that I saw was any business that has over 100 photos on their Google My Business page has 520% better results than average of getting calls. And that's, it's not just views to their picture, it's actual 520% more calls than average. So it would seem that is definitely one thing that they could do. Now, what kind of ways or ideas do you have that people could get images of their business to be able to put on that Google My Business page?
Well, a 500% increase, that's huge. And that's a quick win, I think, that a lot of business owners, can take. The most important thing is just accuracy with your photos. You really want to showcase your business. They don't have to be professional photographs. That you can take them on. Most phones have cameras that are good enough for the Google My Business page. So you want to get as many pictures as with employees, with customers, with the actual product that you're selling. If you're a roofer, you want to get a ton of shots of roofs. If you're a plumber, you can be as boring as getting pictures of pipes. At the end of the day, what matters is that you have those images on there, and it really helps tell your story.
And it's not only about you as the business owner telling the story. If people are leaving reviews, they have the opportunity to leave images as well. So maybe that's something that businesses could encourage. If you are asking for a 5-star review, which is something that we need to talk about as well, that they could maybe leave an image as well in the review.
That's exactly right, and it can be very powerful. We worked with a hail repair company here in Denver, and their top salesman, every time that this company would finish a vehicle after they'd finished fixing the dents on the car, he would get a selfie with every customer, and they were just big, smiling, great big, happy images. And when you start to put those out there, people, it's contagious. It's proof of concept. It shows customers you're a trusted local business, and it's very powerful.
Yeah, people want to see those happy results and have them for themselves. Let's talk about the reviews, because obviously grabbing those pictures and putting them up yourself on the Google My Business is great. But if you could get the customer to actually post it on their account, that would be even better. But I want to talk about reviews, how to get them, because it is one of the top ranking factors for ranking on the map.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So yeah, reviews, I think, are more important now than ever before. The biggest reason I say that is, number one, the map pack. It's one of the factors that allows you to show up in that top 3 section. And then also, Google has rolled out a program, Google Local Services, which takes away some of the creativity online of the entire buying process. What it is, these are ads now that are shown for specific service-based industries, and the only way they're ranked is based on the reviews. That's really the only differentiating factor, our number of reviews. So, for instance, here in Denver, to use the example of roofers again, if you were to Google right now, roofers Denver, Colorado, or roofers near me on your desktop, you're going to see those Google Local Services ads. A lot of folks don't even realize they're ads, number one. Number two, the only thing that's differentiating them is the number, your review or your rating. So reviews have become more important than ever.
Yeah, and I was saying to somebody else recently, I was reading Robert Cialdini's books, both his Influence book, which outlines certain factors that really make people act, and Social Proof and Authority were 2 of those things. And getting reviews from other people really cements that and gets others to take action. With the Google My Business, it seems like they're almost wanting you to use it as a social media page, because there's photos that you can post, there's posts that you can put up there, there's offers that you can do. How often should somebody be posting to their Google My Business page?
Well, typically what we do is, for our clients, is we'll actually post 3 or 4 times a month. So when we write content for clients, we always post that content. And if it's in the form of a blog, we'll always end up posting that content on Google My Business. And just to kind of talk about one more quick win that I don't think I mentioned. When you embed a Google map onto your website, that's also a very powerful signal telling Google, you're local, this is your correct information. And it really talks directly with the Google My Business page. So embedding a map is also very important. It's another one of those quick wins that business owners can take that is a pretty fast and easy thing to do.
And that's obviously on your site, but that also works embedding it off-site in other things like news releases or anywhere that you can, blogs, articles, those kinds of things. If you can embed a map on there, that also helps rank that Google page, or at least make you more relevant.
Absolutely.
Adam, things are changing in website design, and I know you do a lot of website design work. Let's touch on this first. How often should somebody do a redesign? Because I know a lot of the technical things change over the years, and Google really is looking for speed more and user experience more than anything else. So how often should somebody upgrade their website?
Well, that's a great question. And, we get asked that every single day. It really depends on your industry and, your existing website. If it's starting to look a little outdated, that it's time to potentially give it a facelift or actually just go in and do a full redesign. A lot of things are changing with web design. I think developers are making it easier and easier to put up websites. Companies like Wix, and there's a lot of GoDaddy right now is offering web design, kind of do it yourself. But there's a lot more that goes into it than just putting up a few pictures and text. There's having clean code is extremely important. Making sure that your website is mobile friendly is a big ranking factor right now for search engine optimization, and really focusing on that UX, on the user experience, making it easy for someone to reach out to you if they're actively searching for you. That's really the name of the game, is making it as easy as possible for a customer to be able to contact you or find the information they're looking for quickly on your site.
Now, obviously, having a designer build your site and looking at the code is something that the general layperson is not going to be able to do. They might be good with a computer, but they're probably not going to know all the code and the technical stuff that goes into SEO. What things do people really have to think about and that really make a difference as far as the SEO and getting found?
Well, a lot of customers will kind of start off, a lot of business owners, I should say, will start off, attempting to kind of SEO themselves, build their own websites. And typically after a few months of frustration, they end up, calling a company like ours or others to kind of help with it. But there are things that they can do, certainly. We always like to develop on WordPress, which is, that I think it's like 65-70% of all websites are now built using WordPress. There's a lot of really handy plugins that can help speed up your website. There's a plugin like Yoast SEO, for instance, that can kind of help take some of the guesswork out of the title tags and meta descriptions and all of that kind of stuff. And then it's important to realize that backlinks, there's still a lot of power in getting high quality, high authority backlinks sent to your site.
Yeah, I want to touch on the plugins for a minute, because there are some excellent plugins out there that can really make a big difference to the way your site works. But there's also a lot of plugins that you can put on your website that are just going to cause bloat and make your website run a lot slower than it should, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And you really got to be careful with the plugins that you're using. Like you said, the more plugins you have on a website, typically the slower it's going to be, because what that plugin is doing is it's adding code into the site. So you want to make sure that the plugins you have are necessary, and you can do a quick Google search to find, most popular WordPress plugins. We recommend a couple different ones, and paid and free. A lot of them are actually free as well, but they can make a huge impact. I would say the most important for a new business owner, or a business owner that's new to the digital space and new to website design, looking to kind of help with their SEO rankings, would be Yoast SEO. It really does take a lot of the guesswork out of it. It's not something that we as an agency use, but because we're kind of doing things more inside of the code versus using plugins to do it. But it is a great tool.
So you mentioned backlinks, and backlinks are still, a major factor when it comes to ranking a website. From a local point of view, what kind of backlinks should a local business be trying to get to boost their search engine rankings?
Local backlinks, I would say. You want high domain authority. You want backlinks coming from high domain authority websites. Now, if that means, the best place to start are the folks that are around you. So if you're a business owner and you happen to know 3 or 4 other business owners, and they've had a website online for a long time, and they've, maybe invested into some SEO, chances are they have a pretty high DA, or domain authority. So that would be a great place to start initially, would be just talking to other business owners and saying, hey, do you mind if I write a blog for your website, and then include a backlink in that blog leading back to my website? That's where I would get started personally, if I was, just starting to get into it. Then once you've kind of exhausted those resources, then you want to start looking for other local, businesses in your area, or whether it's your city, state, that do have a backlink opportunity. So, backlinks from Channel 9 News, for instance, out here in Denver are very powerful. Or NBC, the local affiliates, things like that, ABC local affiliates. Those are some of the best backlinks that you can get. And one way to get those is to reach out to the businesses themselves and say, hey, is there some kind of a potential here to be able to include a backlink from your website to mine?
And when we're talking about a lot of these things, you mentioned the news websites. It comes down to trust. People trust those brands, have trusted those brands for years, for decades. So to get a link from a trusted site like that makes all the difference. So things like a Chamber of Commerce, or a Better Business Bureau, or charities even, they can be some good trusted links to get as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it all, at the end of the day, Google is they want to provide, as I mentioned earlier, the best possible user experience for someone searching on their search engine. So if they were to show 10 businesses when someone makes a search, and if Google showed 10 businesses that were out of business or terribly reviewed, that's not really going to benefit the customer. And when it doesn't benefit the customer, that means it's not benefiting Google. Google makes all of their money on ads, on AdWords. So they want to provide the best possible results. And one of the ways they do that is by looking at the amount of backlinks, the quality of your backlinks. It's almost like social proof, telling Google, hey, it's kind of a popularity contest. It's like whoever has the most hands raised is the group that gets to show up on the front page. So you really want to make sure that you have a strong backlink profile, so Google does give you the opportunity to show up on that front page.
All right, so we've talked about Google My Business. The location is the big factor when searching on the map and showing up there, as well as reviews from other people. We've talked about some of the technical things that you need to think about with the website, the speed, and then of course there's the HTTPS, which is having a secure site. We've talked about backlinks. There's one vital missing component I think that we still need to talk about, and that is the actual content that's on the website.
Right.
How much content should be on your homepage, for example, and talk to me after that about the inner pages and how they should all link together.
Sure. Yeah. Content is king is what we say in the SEO world. The more content, typically the better, as long as that content is relevant to the user. That's, I think, a very important aspect of it is the content needs to be relevant, well written. Each blog post, we typically advise, or we write our blog posts for 1,000 words or more, typically between 1,000 words and 1,500 words per blog post. We'll start to see that blog rank on the search engines, not just Google, but Bing and Yahoo as well. So content is extremely important, and optimizing that content is even more important. So, you can write all of the content in the world, and if no one ever finds it, what was the point? So optimizing the content by using keywords, by creating good URL structure. So you want to make sure that typically you'll include keywords within the actual domain itself. Google reads from top down. So the first thing they're looking at is the domain. Then they're going to look at the big title of the article, maybe an image. They'll read the image through, via alt text. And then they just go down from there, having strong H1, H2 tags, H3 and on, really helps Google understand what the content is about and who to serve that content to. And, another thing I would say is video is especially, talking about, I think, what's coming up here. Video has become more and more important. By next year, voice searches will account for more than half of all online searches, which is huge. Obviously, a lot of that's going to be coming from YouTube, but having great video, having great content, and having great reviews, a solid website that's fast, it's mobile friendly, having a strong Google My Business page, all of these things are going to give you the opportunity to gain more business. And digital is more important now than ever. I'm not sure if you're aware, but this year, digital ad spending surpassed traditional ad spending for the first time ever. So it's kind of a monumental year here in 2019 for digital advertising. When you think of all of the money spent, commercials and radio and newspapers and magazines, this is the first year that digital advertising has surpassed standard offline advertising.
That is pretty remarkable. I didn't know myself that it was that close. I thought offline advertising would still be by far and away the biggest way that people are spending money, but that is good to know. That's great. Mm-hmm. So how do you compete then? Because there's only so much space available on the front page of Google, and we all know that being on page 2 isn't really going to get you anywhere. So how do you really compete to be one of those few that is able to get on the front page of Google?
Well, yeah, being the president of an advertising agency, I would say contact us. Mm-hmm. I would be remiss if I didn't say that. But working with a reputable digital marketing agency in your area is a great way to make sure that you're in a position to be found online. And that's really, at the end of the day, it's more powerful now than it ever has been before. And it's all trending upwards. I don't think newspapers really have the power they used to have. I don't think that television is nearly, television commercials and things are nearly as strong as what it used to be. So making sure that you're working with a reputable company and then taking the steps that you and I had discussed earlier will really make sure that you're in a great position for 2020 and beyond. A couple final things here to leave you with. I think influencer marketing obviously has become a huge thing. I don't see that going anywhere for quite some time. Video will continue to dominate. Chat bots are something that they're getting a lot smarter. So when we're talking about moving into the new year, looking into potentially adding a chat bot to your site. And then, of course, big data. I mean, a lot of these companies are collecting different information in order to provide you with the most relevant ads. That's going to continue to be important moving forward as well.
Yep, there's certainly a lot to think about. The one word that I hear that's coming up from Google over and over is branding.
Mm-hmm.
And Google loves brands, which is why when you do a search for a local business, oftentimes you're seeing these big brands that come up, the Home Advisors, the Angie's List, the Yelps. They're brands that have been built over time, and it seems like it's what Google is rewarding. So what does that mean for a local business that is trying to build their own brand? How prolific do they need to be?
Well, our biggest thing is we help small business compete with big business, is what we like to say. And you're right, a lot of these big brands have millions and millions of dollars to throw into digital advertising and also print marketing and everything else. And it can seem at first as though it's a little overwhelming and that you really don't have a chance to compete with these big brands. What I can tell you, in 2019, the majority of my clients are showing up above Home Advisor. They're showing up above Angie's List. They're showing up above Yelp. So it is still certainly possible. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it is certainly possible. And creating a consistent brand across every major platform, is very important as well. So you really want to focus on.
There's definitely things that small businesses can do, and when you look at some of these Fortune 500 companies that are just massive companies, they don't move quickly as a startup might come in and do something very quickly and they'll go with the trends. It takes these big companies a long time to move, and I think the same opportunity is there for the local business to get those local links, like you said, whereas a big company might just be relying on their domain authority. So if there's certainly ways to beat out those big companies, like you said, Adam. So if somebody wants to reach out to you to get your knowledge and have your team do the marketing and advertising and web design and everything for them, what is the best way for them to do that?
Sure. So, they can visit us at denverdigital.com. They can give us a call at 720-316-4217, or they can email us directly at info@denverdigital.com. We're pretty easy to be found online. So that is our specialty. And we love bringing on new clients and really helping them make sure that they are able to compete with those bigger box brands, and we do a very good job with that. So,
excellent. Well, thank you very much, Adam, for being my guest. I know there is so much to look at all the time and talk about when it comes to marketing, and now and in 2020 and beyond. Finally, what are your plans and goals for this next decade?
Sure. We're looking to expand into different markets throughout Colorado. We are growing the business. We are bringing on new clients, as well as making sure that all of our existing clients are very well taken care of. The biggest thing is that we are starting to expand. So, we've been in business for just over 4 years now. We've grown every year, and I think 2020 is going to be a very big year for us. And we're really looking forward to it. And I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me, Neil.
Well, excellent. And that's what everybody wants. They want growth year upon year. You're certainly very good at doing that, Adam. And I wish you all the best and the success for your continued growth in the future. Adam Vest, President of Denver Digital, thank you very much for being my guest on the Trust Factor Radio today.
Thank you, Neil.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.